Naruto, Unlocking Genius with 10 Skill Bars. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 71. Flowers in the Greenhouse Need Experience. When Shiyu finished his crazy training and went home to sleep, third generation Hiruzen looked at Kakashi, who came in. Sorry, I have to call you over so late. There is no way this old man has just finished handling the matter. Hearing this, Kakashi shook his head. Master third generation doesn't need to apologize. You should pay more attention to your body for working hard for Konoha. I'm old. I really can't accept my old age. Third generation stood up and flexed his muscles, while turning his head to look at Kakashi. What do you think of those 3 children? I knew that third generation would ask questions before I came here, and Kakashi had already thought of an answer. Uchiha Sasuke, genius, but engulfed in flames of vengeance. It seems hard to get out. If he gives up revenge, his future may be better. Yeah. Third generation nodded. He can't do anything about Uchiha Sasuke's matter. Itachi obviously has his own February 17th idea. What about Naruto? Kakashi thought for a while. Naruto is indeed a person who has inherited the will of fire. Except for being a little stupid, everything else is good. Even if Nine Tails didn't make trouble in him, I'm afraid he would be a better genius than Sasuke. Then, where's Shiyu? When asked about Shiyu, Kakashi's expression became much more serious. This is also the most important part of my report this time. Moonlight Shiyu, I didn't expect this kid to be so amazing. Master third generation reminded me before that this kid created his own swordsmanship. I didn't take it seriously, but this fight let me see what is called a peerless genius. Recalling the fight with Shiyu, Kakashi can still remember it vividly. That child is very talented. He was able to combine water style with swordsmanship and develop such a swordsmanship. It can no longer be called swordsmanship, but ninjutsu. Single-handed swordsmanship alone is not weaker than ordinary jonin, and his speed and strength are unmatched by ordinary people. Kakashi said that he felt a little unbelievable. The Moonlight clan is not a big family of Konoha to have such an outstanding child. It seems that you have a good opinion of him? Kakashi smiled. Not only does he have amazing talent, but he also knows how to take care of his companions. He doesn't have the arrogance of his peers at all. It's rare to have such a talent without any arrogance. Don't you have arrogance? Hiruzen doesn't think so, but it's true that he knows how to take care of his companions. Do you think that kid can beat you if you really do it? Hearing this, Kakashi shook his head. Master third generation, I am Konoha's elite jonin anyway. It is not so easy for a kid who just graduated from ninja school to defeat me. Really? That kid didn't use a single ninjutsu when he fought with you. Hearing this, Kakashi was slightly stunned. A kid like him, even if he knows ninjutsu, he doesn't know much. Using ninjutsu is simply, this is not necessarily the case. Umbu has witnessed this kid before, and it seems to use Water Style's body flicker technique. Water Style's body flicker technique? Kakashi suddenly opened his eyes and looked at third generation, as if asking if what third generation said was true. Forget about the body flicker technique, or the escape technique? Is this possible? If you want to master the escape technique, you must first master this escape technique to an incomparably proficient level. See the suspicion in Kakashi's gaze. Third generation reminded, don't forget, that kid can combine water style and swordsmanship to develop a new swordsmanship. Do you think his attainment in water style is low? Yes. After being reminded by third generation, Kakashi also felt that it might not be too low. And this also means that Shiyu must have mastered the amazing water style ninjutsu, but he didn't use it at all when he fought against himself before. That kid, not serious yet? He pushed himself to the point where he even used Raikiri before he got serious about it. But if Shiyu got serious about it, what would his fighting power be? Thinking of this, Kakashi began to breathe faster. It's hard to believe. Noticing that Kakashi's face had changed, third generation said, it's my Konoha's good fortune to have such a junior kid appear in Konoha. But no matter how talented you are, it's actually just a flower in a greenhouse. It still needs a little practice. Speaking of which, third generation took out a document. You guys are going to perform the first mission tomorrow. Ordinary low-level missions. I don't think they are suitable for those 3 brats. Look at this mission. Kakashi took out the paper in the information bag and glanced at the information on it. Then he asked with some uncertainty, Master third generation, are you serious? Ah. Of course. After all, let the children experience a little bit. Well, since third generation has decided so, then Kakashi can't make him change. Yes. I know what to do. After speaking, Kakashi left the office of third generation, and after Kakashi left, third generation looked at Shiyu in the crystal ball, who had already returned to the room and was sound asleep. With that tired look, it could be seen that he went to practice. So talented and working so hard, if everyone is like Shiyu, then Konoha will become so powerful. At this moment, Danzo of the Rude organization was also very surprised when he heard the report of his subordinates being able to compete with Kakashi, although Kakashi certainly didn't try his best. But being able to force Kakashi Raikiri out shows how terrifying this kid's strength is. It seems that it is impossible for ordinary ninjas to complete the task, and now that Hiruzen arranges Kakashi to guard, it is even more difficult to succeed. It seems that I can only put this matter aside for a while. and wait for the right opportunity to make a move. When Shiyu woke up the next morning, he glanced at the time. According to the situation in the original book, Kakashi will definitely be late. So, just sleep for a few more hours. When Shiyu got enough sleep and got up to go to the meeting place, Kakashi was so gloomy that neither Sasuke nor Naruto dared to speak. They waited here for several hours, but Shiyu hadn't come yet. Even Sasuke was a little annoyed that such a waste of time was wasting so much time. When Shiyu arrived and saw that the faces of the three were all black, even Naruto seemed very angry. Shiyu was a little confused. Kakashi is here so early? Thought he was going to be late. It seems that the original can't be completely believed. After staring at Shiyu for more than 10 seconds, Kakashi said, "Okay, since the three of you are all here, let's start. Your first job as a genin is to escort." Shiyu was surprised. Escort? Episode 72. Start making balls ahead of time. Our 7th squad's first mission is a sea-level mission, escorting a bridge builder from the land of waves back to the land of waves. Because of some special reasons, the enemy may intercept him. We need to protect his safety and send him back to the Kingdom of Waves safely. After listening to the general content of the mission, neither Naruto nor Sasuke felt much. Thought this was just normal. However, only Shiyu knows that this is abnormal. Too abnormal. Class 7 in the anime has taken on a lot of D-level tasks, such as weeding, catching pets, and the like. Been busy for over a month. How come I have to escort Dasna home directly? Is it because of my own reasons that caused a certain impact? However, the person we need to escort has just arrived in Konoha, and it seems that he still needs to rest in Konoha for a day to talk about some materials needed to build the bridge. So we have to wait for him for a day before we can start tomorrow. Okay, that's basically it for today. Let's all go back. Get ready to leave on time at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. When it came to being on time, Kakashi glanced at Shiyu. I hope no one will be late tomorrow, otherwise I won't be waiting for more than 21 people. He stared at Shiyu. Do you think anyone will be late tomorrow? Shiyu shook his head helplessly. No, fine. That's it, Kakashi said and disappeared. The three of them can only leave separately. Shiyu is helpless. Who knows that Kakashi will be on time, and this late king will also be on time. Shiyu. After Sasuke left, Naruto suddenly stopped Shiyu, who was also about to leave. Shiyu looked back at Naruto. What's wrong? Naruto rubbed his hands in embarrassment. Well, Shiyu, can you teach me some ninjutsu again? Of course, it's okay if you have difficulties, I'll just ask casually. Naruto's desire to become stronger seems to be stronger than in the original book, and at the same time, he is smarter and knows to ask himself for help. But it's normal, I taught him the shadow clone technique before, and as a kid, who wouldn't want to learn a few more ninjutsu? During the battle for the bell, Naruto saw Sasuke unleash fire style again. Shiyu's amazing swordsmanship seems to be only one shadow clone by himself. Compared with his two companions, Naruto felt that his battle was nothing more than days. Shiyu looked at Naruto and thought for a moment, and at this time Naruto was very disturbed. Fortunately, Shiyu didn't think too long, just thought for a few seconds before answering, okay. Yes, really? That's great, Shiyu, you are so sweet, thank you so much. Naruto rushed up and grabbed Shiyu's neck. Okay. If you are grateful, you don't need it. We are also companions, so it's okay to help each other. Let's go. Find a hidden place and teach you ninjutsu. Naruto's chakra is of the wind attribute. Shiyu currently masters only one wind attribute ninjutsu, Inshun Beast Wave Palm. This wind style ninjutsu is not strong, but it is definitely very practical, consumes less chakra, and its power is not bad. If Naruto can master it, it will also add a little attack method. At the same time, it is more like a ninja. Otherwise, you will not know any ninjutsu all day long, and just a shadow clone and a rubbing ball are too cheap. Although rubbing balls directly rubs into gods, etc., rub the balls. Shiyu frowned. With his current level of chakra control, it's not difficult to make a ball. Maybe give it a try. When we came outside Konoha village, we didn't go as far as the waterfall this time. We just found a wood at random and started. Shiyu first taught Naruto wind style, issues of Madara and how to mobilize chakra, Shiyu told Naruto. Although the current Naruto has not yet mastered the nature transformation of the wind attribute, but as a Naruto who is born with the wind attribute chakra, chakra itself has the power of the wind attribute. Nature transformation can only be regarded as professional training, and only after mastering it can the full power of a ninjutsu truly explode. But it doesn't affect anything. Have you understood the order of sealing and the control of chakra? Naruto nodded. Understood. Then try it. Naruto started to try for the first time, but he understood the control of chakra, but it was not so easy to master it. Failed to release ninjutsu for the first time. The second time was also a failure. 5 times in a row, Naruto couldn't let out even a breeze. Naruto himself was a little discouraged, but Shiyu was not in a hurry. While in my mind, I asked the great sage. According to my idea, calculate the Rasengan. Great sage, in calculus, 10%, 20%, 30%. According to Shiyu's situation and the level of control over chakra, it is not difficult to calculate a Rasengan. Shiyu watched Naruto's progress in wind style, beast wave palm is really slow. He opened his mouth and said, Naruto makes some shadow clone, let the shadow clone practice like you. Shadow clone? Shadow clone. Shadow clone can be said to be a plugin for cultivation. Let shadow clone participate in the cultivation, and if you gain insights from shadow clone cultivation, you will also get it with the release of shadow clone. It will get twice the result with half the effort. There is also this method. Naruto was suddenly excited. Thousands of shadow clone appeared. Looking at the densely packed shadow clone, it is worthy of being the protagonist. Shiyu finally saw the grand occasion of going up to the previous avatar to practice together. It was slow progress before, so once thousands of shadow clones are released, even if the speed of slow progress is superimposed, it will directly become a rocket. Naruto successfully released wind style, beast wave palm. Looking at the marks left by the wind blade on the tree trunk, Shiyu nodded, very good, I'll teach you a new hat next. It can be used without a seal, no printing required. Naruto froze for a moment. Is there such a ninjutsu? This technique is called, congratulations to host for mastering new skills, Rasengan. Rasengan. Saying that, Shiyu opened his hand, and instantly used chakra in his hand, and formed a Rasengan almost in the blink of an eye. Looking at the blue ball of light in Shiyu's hand, Shiyu hit the tree with one blow. Immediately, the big tree was directly broken in the middle. Seeing this power, Naruto couldn't bear it anymore. I must learn this. Shiyu smiled, okay. Here's to teach you. Episode 73. Nature Transformation Boil Style Enhancement. Remember, the first step is rotation, the second step is power, and the third step is fixed maintenance. This is Shiyu's summary. Naruto was confused, but although Shiyu couldn't understand what he said, after the demonstration, Naruto knew exactly what he should do. As for the balloons and balls needed for practice, let Naruto get them by himself. And Shiyu also needs to continue to practice the control of chakra. It reached 20 meters yesterday, and now, while maintaining chakra's highly condensed state, the thickness remains the same and the length has been extended to 35 meters. That's what Shiyu needs to do today. But according to Shiyu's situation, it can be done a few hours before lunch. Basically, after Naruto got the balloons and balls needed for practice, it was already lunchtime, and Shiyu's practice has finally come to an end. While maintaining the high density of chakra, it has been able to extend to the position of 37 meters. Shiyu smiled. Great sage, it's all right now. Great sage, it is predicted that chakra control has reached the standard, and even the host exceeds expectations, reducing the calculation time. It can also reduce the calculation time, so Shiyu feels the need to continue. Great sage, there is no need to continue to enhance chakra control. Chakra control has exceeded the expected level, and the calculation time for continued enhancement and reduction is also limited. Alright, in this case, there is no need to continue wasting time on this. Shiyu is here for lunch. I brought you instant noodles specially, you can choose which flavor you like. Forehead. Shiyu turned his head and looked at Naruto, who had already set up matches, and brought out a small pot to boil hot water. Is this guy coming to camp? But forget it, boiled instant noodles seem to be very good. After simply eating Naruto's noodles, I have to say that the taste of the instant noodles cooked by Naruto is indeed different. It seems that Naruto spends a lot of time cooking instant noodles on weekdays. Shiyu, I saw you were using chakra to turn into silk thread before you. What are you doing? Train chakra's controls. Chakra's control? What does training this do? Shiyu smiled. The stronger the chakra's control ability, the more it will enhance all aspects of ninjutsu. That's right. Then I'll try to practice chakra control after I finish the training of Rasengan. The control of chakra is an ability that every ninja must master. Now that Shiyu has completed the first step of merging the blood succession limit, chakra's control has reached the requirements. Then the next step is the strength of the escape technique. Two blood successor boundaries that need to be fused, boil style and ice escape. Their nature transformation power is still not up to the fusion requirements, so the nature transformation power of these two escape techniques must be strengthened. Ice escape is okay. Shiyu hangs two ice escape ninjutsu on the skill bar, and now the enhancement of nature transformation is not small. When Shiyu raises the intensity of boil style, I'm afraid Ice Dun will be able to meet the fusion requirements by relying on passive operation. But since it is necessary to increase the strength of boil style, just hang boil style on the skill bar and wait for the passive operation to increase, although it will only take a few days. But if Shiyu takes the initiative to cultivate, it may be done in one day. There is no need to delay another 2 days. And upgrading the boil style does not necessarily allow you to practice boil style's nature transformation. Practicing boil style's ninjutsu can also enhance boil style's nature transformation. Shiyu now masters only one boil style ninjutsu, boil style unparalleled monster power. Although the power is amazing, there are not many opportunities to use this technique. It's good to use as a trump card, but there should be more ways to use boil style. Since you are practicing boil style, you can try to develop several boil style ninjutsu. While practicing, you can enhance the power of boil style's nature transformation and kill two birds with one stone. Boil style also has two abilities as a blood follower limit. One is temperature, and the other is corrosiveness. The temperature is capable of boiling the chakra, resulting in a massive power boost. In terms of corrosiveness, Shiyu thinks that it can also be considered for development. In the original book, Terumi Mei, a boil-style skillful mist technique, can make Sasuke's Susanoo melt. It can be seen that the corrosiveness of boil style is also quite terrifying. But a technique like the skillful mist technique, although extremely powerful, has too many disadvantages. One is that it must be in a confined space, otherwise the amazingly corrosive mist will not be able to harm the enemy at all. Secondly, the fog spreads too slowly. If the enclosed space is very large, it will not be able to completely fill the space in a short time. At the same time, although the effect of corrosion is strong, it cannot be seen immediately. Shiyu felt a little, not strong enough. Great Sage, what do you think if boil style is integrated into Rasengan? Shiyu looked at Naruto, who was trying to burst the balloon, and Shiyu asked the Great Sage in his heart. Great Sage, it is theoretically possible, but what host thinks is to use the corrosiveness of boil style to cause damage to the enemy in the most direct way. Rasengan is integrated into boil style, and the burst of instantaneous corrosive gas may even damage the host. Can I not avoid the attack of my chakra? Great Sage, corrosiveness can be avoided, but the impact of high-temperature explosions, the host cannot be immune, and the probability of hitting the enemy with a long-range throw is very low. It turns out that this is the case, then boil style is really not suitable for integration into Rasengan Shin. Great Sage, the analysis result is most suitable for the use of host's boil style, which is to integrate it into the weapon. Arms? Shiyu looked down at the ninja sword Zugetsu on his waist, and pulled Zugetsu out directly. How does this come together? Although the material of Zugetsu is special, but the corrosive boiling, okay, can't stand it for a long time. Don't let the enemy be fine at that time, and your own knife will be destroyed first. Great Sage, with host's current chakra control ability, it can condense high-density chakra to cover the blade, cover the outer periphery with ordinary chakra, and carry out boil-style changes on ordinary chakra. The formed boil-style heat can have high temperature and corrosive properties. With the host's swordsmanship, the lethality is amazing. This is fine, however, Shiyu thinks that it can be changed slightly. The high-density chakra inside can also undergo boil-style nature transformation, but only the temperature is enhanced, and the ordinary chakra outside strengthens the corrosion. Wouldn't it be even more terrifying in this way? Great Sage, analyzing, estimated feasibility probability 80%. Then let's try to calculate this technique. Calculating, 10%, 20%. Episode 74. New Ninjutsu Boil Style, Heat Breath Blade. The calculation speed is very fast. Shiyu did not expect the calculation speed to be so fast. Shiyu's calculation is complete before Naruto bursts a single balloon over there. Congratulations to host for acquiring a new skill. Boil Style Operator Blade of Heat Breath. Boil Style, Blade of Heat Breath. Using the meticulous control of chakra, perform boil-style nature transformation with two different densities of chakra. The first layer of high-density chakra erupts with astonishingly high temperatures, increasing the power of weapons with temperature. The second layer of ordinary chakra produces corrosive gas, which is ineffective for the caster himself, and all other objects will be corroded once touched. When the heat blade hits the enemy, it can also inject heat into the enemy's body. The high-temperature steam will burn the enemy's body and corrode the enemy's flesh and blood. The lethality is astonishing. Look at the introduction. Shiyu suddenly smiled. This power does not seem simple. It can also inject heat at the moment of hitting the enemy. Of course, the amount injected depends on the contact time. However, no matter how long the contact time is, even if it is only for a moment, the enemy who has been severely slashed by himself may not feel any feeling at the hit part at the first time. Afterwards, the corrosive breath can penetrate into the body and cause further damage. This technique. Very good. Shiyu pulled out Zangetsu directly, and 600 looked at the pitch-black ninja sword in his hand, the pattern of the sword exuding blue light. One-handed seal. Boil style, heat breath blade. Comparable. Naruto, who heard the voice, raised his head and looked in Shiyu's direction. The pupils slowly dilated. Shiyu held the ninja sword Zangetsu with one hand, but the heat from the blade was rising slowly. The barking sound was the burst of steam from the knife. Shiyu felt the consumption of chakra. As expected of boil style, the chakra consumption speed of this move is indeed quite a lot. And the biggest advantage of this boil style move is that it is different from boil style's unparalleled strange power, which explodes amazing power in the body. This is an outbreak outside the body. When Shiyu used the boil style unparalleled power, he was boiling crazily due to the chakra in his body. So much so that Shiyu is absolutely unable to use other escape techniques in that state. But now it's different. Shiyu can use other escape techniques even while maintaining the boil style heat breath blade. In this way, it greatly increases its combat diversity. CBDD, in the battle, you will not suddenly fall into a passive situation and cannot find a way out of the predicament for a while. Although the activation of the blade of heat cannot use the moves of breath of water, but the basic swordsmanship can still be used. With Shiyu's level of swordsmanship, even a simple swordsmanship attack can beat Jonin to the ground, not to mention adding the blade of heat breath. Comparable. Seeing the rising steam, Shiyu raised his hand and swung his sword. At the moment of swinging Zangetsu, heat is also released along with Shiyu's slash. As mentioned in the introduction of the skill just now, it can inject heat when it comes into contact with the enemy, but not touching the enemy can also consume chakra to infuse heat. It's just that the slashing wave released in this way has a very limited attack range, probably just swept away a distance of about 1 meter, and it will immediately dissipate. Raise your hand to point Zangetsu straight ahead, and release the heat breath with all your strength. Accompanied by the injection of chakra, the surging heat appears to sweep straight forward. Although the speed is still relatively slow, isn't this another Chasha technique? The heat swept across 5 or 6 meters and hit the trunk, and the half of the trunk visible to the naked eye immediately began to melt, directly melted by the terrifying high temperature and corrosive gas. Beep! It collapsed to the ground with a loud bang. Naruto was stunned. What kind of technique is this? Shiyu disarmed the heat breath blade, then looked at Naruto. It's nothing, you continue to practice. I will find a more spacious place to experiment with my newly developed technique. New development? Naruto froze for a moment. When did this guy develop ninjutsu? During the time you left? And how easy is it to develop ninjutsu? This guy developed all his ninjutsu by himself? Naruto's mind is full of doubts now, but at this moment Shiyu has cast body flicker technique and disappeared. Came to a river. Shiyu jumped straight into the water. Pull out the Zangetsu. It is a good choice to practice here. Whether it is to attack trees or stones with heat, the damage to the environment is too great, but it releases heat to water. At most, it is just corroding part of the water. Not much damage. Now that this technique has been successfully developed, Shiyu directly replaced the passive skill 4 to 5 with boil style, heat breath blade. In this way, not only can you get 10 times the effect of cultivation, but you can even achieve no consumption. It is also convenient for Shiyu to start his crazy practice next. Turn on thinking acceleration. The rest of this afternoon, aim to elevate boil style to the level of composite fusion. Ice Dun has been relying on passive operation for a long time, and at most it can reach the fusion level after tonight. In this way, the control of chakra and the strength of the escape technique have all met the requirements. The rest is a question of physique. Just about to go out on a mission, and there is nothing else to do when performing the mission. Walking and running can also be regarded as physical exercise. The time to go out to perform tasks is used to enhance physical fitness. When he returned to Konoha, he should have no problems with his physique. This arrangement is perfect. Utilize all the time without delaying things. Start. As Shiyu pulled Zangetsu out and began to frantically wave Zangetsu in the water, a lot of heat rose up. It was clearly a very fast-flowing river, but it seemed to have suddenly turned into a hot spring. And it was still a hot spring. The heat continued to rise. The strength of boil style is advancing by leaps and bounds, and the water flow is corroding all the time, and being corroded or boiled at high temperature will make Shiyu chakra consume crazily. Consumption also means the operation of nature transformation. Obviously, Shiyu could feel that the temperature of the blade in his hand became more and more terrifying with the loss of time, and the corrosion effect of boil style became more and more amazing. Originally, it was just to avoid damaging the environment, but now it seems that they have found the fastest way to improve by mistake. At this rate, before dark tonight, it should be able to reach the boil-style nature transformation intensity required by the Great Sage. Episode 75. The episode before departure. Shiyu's crazy practice is completely tireless. In this case, the strength of boil style is continuously improved. As the evening approached, the voice of the Great Sage sounded. Great Sage, analysis, the boil style of the current host to meet the integration requirements. Is this done? Shiyu let out a sigh of relief and released the heat breath blade. Although soaking in the water all afternoon has no effect, it will be uncomfortable after all. No drain on chakra or anything, but drain on Shiyu's spirit. Jumping out of the water, Shiyu stood on the bank looking at the Zangetsu in his hand. Zangetsu was covered by boil style's chakra for an entire afternoon, and the original blue knife pattern seemed to have undergone some changes. The color is not so deep, and there is even a faint reddish light. What's happening here? Shiyu was a little puzzled, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. Put away Zangetsu, now boil style strength is enough, the rest is ice escape. Ice escape has been on the passive skill bar for more than 2 days. Even if Shiyu does nothing, relying on the passive operation effect of the skill bar until tomorrow morning, it is enough to increase the strength of ice escape to the required level. Go back to where Naruto is. Shiyu didn't expect that Naruto also entered the 3rd stage. Rasengan practice, the first step is the balloon, then the water polo, and finally the leather ball. And now Naruto has started training with the ball. Looking at the ball that changed irregularly but didn't explode for a long time, Naruto lay helplessly on the ground and panted heavily. So hard. Shiyu walked to Naruto's side. Okay. Come here today. It's going to be dark, let's go back to the village. Hearing this, Naruto stood up like a carp. Shiyu, you're back. I'm still thinking that if you don't come back, I'll go find you. Well, I'm back. Your cultivation is progressing very fast. Hearing this, Naruto smiled embarrassedly. It's all thanks to your help, otherwise I wouldn't have cultivated so fast. Help yourself? What did I do for myself? The two returned to Konoha village together, just in time for dinner. Shiyu, how about eating ramen together? Hand-pulled noodle? Shiyu refused very righteously, and planned to go straight home. Ramen? My money was squandered by this guy and Sasuke last time. Now Shiyu has no money left. Still eating ramen? Forget it. Go home and grab something to eat in the fridge. Okay. If you don't go, I'll be alone. Shiyu came home and just sat down. I heard a knock on the door. Maybe Naruto is chasing after me again. Shiyu stood up and opened the door. Who? Shiyu-kun, you really live here? Looking at Hinata in front of him, Shiyu was a little puzzled. Is the Hyuga family still letting their young lady run around at this point in time? Hinata, what are you doing? I heard Mr. Shiyu, you are leaving the village for a mission tomorrow. So, looking at Hinata, who started to blush again, without saying a word, Shiyu smiled lightly. Come in and talk. Ah? In? Yes. Come in. Are you the guest standing at the door all the time? Hinata breathed a sigh of relief, mustered up the courage to step into Shiyu's small house, and looked at the arrangement of Shiyu's house. What stands out is one word: simple. There are not too many decorations, and it looks empty everywhere, but there are also what should be there. Tables, chairs, and benches are all complete, but it always feels strange. Drink some water. Shiyu put a glass of water on the opposite side of the tea table, pointed to the sofa, and signaled to Ishin to sit down. Hinata lowered her head to avoid Shiyu's eyes the whole time, and curled up in a corner of the sofa with the water glass Shiyu gave her. What did you want to say just now? Shiyu himself took a sip of water and asked. I want to say, Mr. Shiyu, you are going on a mission. For a while, you probably won't be able to go back to the village. Yes. I'm going to the land of waves, and I'll be there for a few days. Lifting her head, Hinata looked at Shiyu, just in time to meet Shiyu's gaze, and quickly lowered her head again. The flustered Hinata fumbled for something in his pocket, then took out a strange amulet. This is for Shiyu-kun, I hope. Shiyu-kun can complete the task smoothly, and come back safely. Amulet? Shiyu took it and smiled. Thank you, Hinata. Asking for flowers. At this time, I gave myself an amulet, and I sent it as soon as I got home. Obviously, this little lady may have been waiting nearby for a long time. Shiyu looked at Hinata and leaned over. Seeing Shiyu approaching, Hinata panicked. Get up quickly. It's about time, I'm going home. Okay. I'll see you off. Boom boom boom. Someone knocked on the door again. Shiyu was stunned. Why there are so many people looking for him today? What's happening here? Hinata is panicked by this situation. If someone sees her and Shiyu alone in a room at this time, then Dad will probably go crazy if he knows it. Who? Shiyu yelled in the direction of the door. Seeing Hinata's hurried look, Shiyu also immediately understood that Hinata is the eldest lady of the Hyuga clan. It's better not to be seen with the two of them alone in the room. After all, the sky is completely dark at this point in time, the moon is dark and the wind is high. Lonely men and widows. The explanation may not be able to explain clearly. Open the door. Shiyu, it's me. Hearing the voice, Shiyu suddenly felt a headache. It was Uncle Masano. Also, Uncle Masano hasn't been here for a long time, and it's almost time to come here every day, and it's really timely. Shiyu's living expenses are gone. Mr. Shiyu. Hinata called Shiyu in a low voice, and asked Shiyu what to do with her eyes. The layout of Shiyu's house is simple, you can see through it at a glance, and there is no place to hide temporarily. The only place is, go to the bed and hide, wait for Uncle Jinya to leave before you come out. Hinata glanced at Shiyu's bed. Go hide on Shiyu-kun's bed. How does it feel? Without giving Hinata much time to think, Shiyu had already gone to answer the door. Opening the door, Masano smiled at Shiyu. Graduated, I heard that you will be on a mission tomorrow. I didn't expect you to leave the village to perform missions just after becoming genin. It seems that Master Hokage is very optimistic about you. The instructor should be Kakashi. That's a very powerful ninja, you must be good. Judging by this posture, I am afraid that there are many positive words. I don't know when I will leave. Shiyu peeked at her bed. This little girl must have been hiding for a long time. Beg. Episode 76. The mission of the Kingdom of Waves begins. When Shiyu opened his eyes in the morning, he saw a figure curled up in his arms, gently sniffing the smell of the other party's hair. Shiyu smiled. This little girl is quite fragrant. Looking at the time, there is still a little time before the collection time, and I am going back to sleep. Who would be willing to just leave such a gentle township? However, maybe Shiyu moved too much, and the little girl in his arms woke up. The other party opened his eyes and looked at Shiyu's face, close at hand, suddenly startled, too scared to move. Sure. Shiyu-kun, what are you doing? Looking at Hinata in his arms, Shiyu helped the other party recall. You forgot. Because Uncle Masano came to look for me suddenly last night, you had no choice but to hide under the covers. But Uncle Masano and I talked for a little while, so you have been hiding in the bed of 287, and finally Uncle Masano left. But I saw you fell asleep, so I didn't wake you up. It turned out to be like this. Hinata didn't know why, she fell asleep inexplicably in Shiyu's bed, which seemed extraordinarily comfortable. Then why are you sleeping here with me? This is my home. It's just such a bed. If I don't sleep, where else will I sleep? Seeing that Hinata was already hesitating and speechless, Shiyu stopped teasing her. Okay. Get up. As he said that, Shiyu got up first. He knew that Hinata had a thin skin, so he probably felt embarrassed to get up first. After Shiyu got dressed, he heard the movement behind him. Turning around, Hinata is already up. He lowered his head and didn't dare to look at Shiyu at all. But Shiyu came to squat down in front of Hinata. Okay, don't be shy. I'm leaving the village to perform a mission soon. Wait for me in the village. After a while, Hinata hummed lightly. The two walked out the door together. At this time, on the other side of Shiyu, a person was holding a key to lock the door. But the other person turned his head sideways and looked in Shiyu's direction. Nothing at first sight, but he immediately realized that something was wrong, and suddenly turned his head and stared in the direction of Shiyu's door, with wide eyes. Shiyu patted Hinata's head lightly. Go back. Hinata blushed and ran away quickly. At this time, Shiyu stretched his waist. The weather today is very good. Shiyu, someone called me again. Shiyu was a little helpless, but immediately realized that something was wrong. Just now he and Hinata came out of the room. Maybe. Turn back. Haifeng looked at Shiyu with surprise and admiration. I thought that you would become the pride of my Moonlight clan and lead my Moonlight clan to rise from Konoha, but now it seems that I underestimated you too much. Even the princess of the Hyuga clan was given to you. Shiyu quickly waved his hands. No. Brother Haifeng, you misunderstood. Misunderstanding? Don't tell me that you two came out of the room early in the morning. What kind of misunderstanding is it? It's understandable that Shiyu young people are impulsive, but you'd better not eat some forbidden fruits now, as it will affect growth and development. Shiyu was helpless. I didn't. I can understand, but if you do it, you have to be responsible. Don't worry, although our Moonlight clan is not a big clan, we will fully support you in taking down the eldest lady of the Hyuga clan. Hey-8 gave Shiyu a cheer. I like your expression. Gale turned and left. Shiyu wanted to stop him, but it was too late. I still have to rush to gather. Forget it and resign to fate. If you misunderstand, just misunderstand. In the Hokage building, Shiyu, Sasuke, and Naruto came to the Hokage office, led by Kakashi. Get to know the escort target of this mission. His name is Dasna, and he is the target of your mission this time. Escorting him back to the Kingdom of Waves is your mission this time. There is nothing to say about the mission statement. It's just that Mr. Dasner glanced at everyone. Just send these little ghosts to protect me? Dasna seemed a little dissatisfied. Glancing at Kakashi next to him, it's just an adult ninja. The others are little ghosts. Can they escort me properly? Third generation laughed without saying a word. Naruto is a little unconvinced, but he is very strong. However, Shiyu directly said, Konoha has powerful ninjas. But can you afford the price for hiring them? Dasner choked on one sentence and didn't know how to refute it. If you give enough rewards for the task, I don't think the village will send us to escort you. After finishing speaking, Shiyu looked at Dasna. So you still have to go? Third generation did not expect that Shiyu would not save face for his employer at all. But there is nothing wrong with what I said, so let alone send an elite genin team like Shiyu, Naruto, and Sasuke with a little money. Even an ordinary genin team is still a little bit worse. If it wasn't for another purpose, the third generation wouldn't care about this Dasner mission at all. Okay. Let's go if there is no problem. Kakashi spoke. Dasna secretly glanced at the three of Shiyu. I hope that the strength of you three brats can be as powerful as your words. The three of them ignored him when they came to the entrance of the village. Kakashi suddenly stopped the three of them. This is your first mission. I will give you a piece of advice. Be calm at all times, and don't forget that the strength of your companions is very important. You are a team and you must help each other to complete the task smoothly. Hearing this, Shiyu felt something was wrong. I won't make a move this time, and I won't even appear in your field of vision. I will only observe in secret. Unless you are at risk of death, or you are already dead, I will not speak out. Understand? Sasuke smiled, and it would be better without Jonin to intervene. Relying on his own strength to complete the task is much more challenging than relying on Jonin 5.3. And you can prove yourself too. Naruto looked at Kakashi. What does this mean? It means that this task is completely completed by the three of us. Shiyu explained to Naruto in a simple and clear manner. Really? Naruto looked surprised, and Kakashi thought Naruto was scared. But the next second Naruto jumped up excitedly. Great. I will prove that I am a qualified Konoha shinobi player. Leave this mere sea-level task to me. Seeing Naruto's appearance, Kakashi was speechless. Well, I don't need to worry at all. Wait. You don't want to use my life to train your Konoha ninjas? Kakashi looked at Dasna, who protested as Shiyu said, the money you give is just to ask Jonin to protect you. I am Jonin. It's not up to you to decide whether or not I shoot or not. Episode 77. Deployment of the skill column at the beginning of the task. Dasna, who was speechless by Kakashi's words, could only grit his teeth helplessly. There is no way that the country is too poor, and the money he can spend to hire ninjas is all his savings. The rest is money to buy materials for building bridges. Dasna could only sigh silently. Shiyu glanced at Dasna, although he had nothing to do with building bridges. But this guy's idea was still very good. Help if you can, then let's start the mission. Kakashi disappeared immediately after speaking. Shiyu just opened his mouth before he could ask Kakashi another thing. Seeing that the other party walked so simply, it was obvious that they wanted to leave this issue to them to handle themselves. The first problem with teamwork on a mission is not the enemy, nor how the mission should be planned. 2. The three of us should elect a captain. Shiyu spoke directly to Naruto and Sasuke. Hearing this, Naruto didn't think too much, but Sasuke looked at Shiyu. Do you want to be the captain? Humph. Although Shiyu is stronger than Sasuke, Sasuke admits this, but admitting does not mean admitting defeat. He won't obey Shiyu's orders. No, I don't have much interest in the captain or something. If you like it, you can be it. Unexpectedly, Shiyu would refuse. This answer made Sasuke stunned for a moment and then said, I don't want to be some kind of captain either. The two looked at Naruto. Naruto shook his head frantically. Me? Can I? Seeing Naruto's silly look, Sasuke patted his head helplessly. Forget about making you the captain. We probably don't even know how we died. Having said that, Sasuke glanced back at Shiyu. It's up to you. You sure? Shiyu asked back. Aren't you good at being yourself? Sasuke smiled faintly. I know my strengths and weaknesses very well. I'm not suitable to be a captain. Your personality is more suitable than mine. Since Sasuke has said so, then Shiyu will not refuse. Kakashi, who secretly watched the three of them, saw Shiyu's lustful tricks, and successfully hooked Sasuke into it. Perhaps Sasuke also saw that Shiyu was deliberately refusing, but after empathy, Sasuke first of all was not suitable and secondly did not want to, and finally chose not to fight. In this way, contradictions and conflicts are avoided, otherwise how could Sasuke compromise so quickly with his arrogant appearance? This first level. It is a perfect pass. A team can have many voices, but one person must make a decision. And now this problem is solved by Shiyu in the first place. Kakashi nodded secretly. Shiyu's performance was more perfect than he imagined. Not only has strong strength, but also has a smart mind, and at the same time knows how to observe the character of his companions and use them. Then it's decided that Shiyu will be our captain. As Naruto said, Sasuke shrugged, as if Naruto had participated in the discussion. Okay. Then let's go. Sasuke, you go ahead. Naruto, you follow Datsuna. I'm at the end. Why should I? Sasuke said in the middle, suddenly froze for a moment, then closed his mouth, and walked directly forward. Hearing Shiyu's order, Sasuke's immediate reaction was still to resist. After all, no one can order him Uchiha Sasuke. But after regaining his senses, Sasuke also knew that Shiyu's configuration represented his approval. The front of the team is responsible for opening the way, and is also the first person to deal with danger. Putting him in such a dangerous position at the front was not aimed at targeting him. On the contrary, Sasuke felt Shiyu's recognition of himself. This actually made Sasuke happy, so Sasuke just shut up halfway through the conversation. Naruto doesn't understand what's the use of Shiyu's arrangement. It's just a walk. Why is it so troublesome? A group of 4 set off. Shiyu was placed at the end of the team, always observing all the movements in front of him. At the same time, beware of the situation behind you, which can be regarded as the most fortunate position. But it's not too far away from Konoha. Shiyu can take a moment to think about it. Yesterday, Boil Style was successfully raised to the level of compound fusion, and the passive skill bar was running last night. Being done also reached the fusion level this morning. Both chakra control and chakra attributes fulfilled the requirement. The only thing left now is the question of physique. Of course, although the requirements have been met, the 2 skills of Ice Done, Shiyu, can be cancelled for a while. However, the ninjutsu of Ice Escape Ice and Snow World can be temporarily removed from the passive skill list. Ice Escape Frozen Moment. This ninjutsu can only be enhanced. What Shiyu needs now is to increase the range of freezing. As for the strength of the power of ice and snow, it will also increase with the enhancement of water style. So Ice Escape Frozen can be hung on the skill bar at all times. If there is a vacant skill slot, it will be replaced with advanced physical skills. At the same time, the 2 boil styles are also directly reduced by 1, and only 1 boil style, Heat Breath Blade, is retained. Hanging it on the skill bar is also to continuously enhance the power of the Blade of Heat. The vacant space is naturally equipped with high-level physical skills. That's 4 skill columns. The skills of the other 3 skill columns remain unchanged, namely Chakra Refining Technique, Basic Vision 737 Illusion Technique, and Advanced Physical Technique. In this way, it means that there are 3 advanced physical skills at the same time. If you encounter a battle, replace 2 of the body skills with the Breath of Water Sword skill immediately. In this way, you will be able to obtain the state of no consumption of water style, stamina, and water-breathing swordsmanship. The help for Shiyu is the greatest. It seems that when we have to make a skill configuration for different situations of PvE and PvP, during the battle, let the Great Sage help to switch. Great Sage, yes. The sun is scorching hot. Sasuke, Naruto, and Shiyu are ninjas. Although they feel a little hot, they are still within an acceptable range. Also not too tiring. It's not enough to go to Dazina, and you need to take a break after walking for 2 hours. It was only at this time that Dasna slowly felt the extraordinariness of these three little devils. He has better physical strength than an adult like him, especially Naruto and Shiyu have no sweat on their foreheads at all. And the other brat, who was a bit cold, just sweated a little. As expected of Konoha's ninja, although he is just a kid, he is completely different from ordinary kid. After walking for 3 or 4 hours, Shiyu finally noticed something was wrong. In such weather, there are actually 2 puddles of water on both sides of the road, which is simply an idiotic disguise. Episode 78. Instant kill, Shiyu's whetstone. When Shiyu noticed something was wrong on the road, Kakashi in the rear also noticed. In such hot weather, there are actually 2 puddles of water beside the road. It's hard not to attract attention, not to mention where the water came from, but it's unreasonable that the 2 puddles of water haven't been evaporated in this weather. Can you find it? Little ghosts. Although Shiyu is strong in combat, Sasuke and Naruto are not weak either. But when you really face the enemy, what kind of reaction will you dare to make a move? At the same time, it is hard to say whether you will notice these details. Seeing that the group was about to walk into the enemy's ambush trap, Kakashi's hand involuntarily grabbed towards the ninja bag. Bang bang. Suddenly, 2 ninjas jumped out of the water beach on both sides of the road. The opponent waved his weapon and launched an attack immediately. And the target is directed at Sasuke and Naruto. The position of the 2 solves Naruto and Sasuke. Then only Shiyu needs to be dealt with. Even if Shiyu is not killed, another person can also kill Dasna to complete the assassination task. When the figures of the 2 appeared, Sasuke was stunned for a moment, but immediately reacted. He took out kunai directly, and kicked Duba at the same time. Sasuke's reaction was good, and Kakashi nodded. On the other side, Naruto froze in place, which was a stress response. When encountering an unexpected situation, the body is completely out of control. This kind of situation is quite bad when facing the enemy, but it's the first time. It's also understandable. Kakashi looked at Shiyu. From the moment the enemy appeared until the enemy attacked Naruto Sasuke, Kakashi had been observing Shiyu's situation. And Shiyu's performance surprised Kakashi, and he didn't respond at all. Calm. It doesn't even have any effect on breathing. Obviously Shiyu had noticed the existence of these 2 guys long ago, so he didn't panic at all. Seeing that Naruto couldn't move, Shiyu directly raised his hand and threw a kunai. Whoosh! There was a cracking sound in the air instantly. Immediately afterwards, this person was directly penetrated by kunai. Seeing this scene, Kakashi's mouth and Kakuzu twitched slightly. Shiyu's dizziness was a little scary. It's just that throwing kunai can actually have this kind of penetrating power. One can imagine how pervert Shiyu's power is. A Chunin was killed. On the other side, Sasuke repelled another Chunin who came to assassinate him, but it didn't kill the opponent. After the opponent fell to the ground, he got up quickly and found that his companion had already fallen to the ground. The opponent was a little flustered but did not waste time, but continued to attack Sasuke. Once it stops, it will be a dead end, and there is still a chance of survival. Sasuke waved his kunai to block the opponent's attack. It seemed that he couldn't take it down for a while, and Shiyu didn't continue to make a move. Dasna, who was on the side, was startled. Why are there 2 people here? Degree. His questions went unanswered. Shiyu came to Naruto's side and patted Naruto's shoulder. Everyone has a first time, and if they didn't do well enough, next time just make sure it won't be as bad as this time. Hearing this, Naruto, who was originally gloomy, suddenly relaxed a lot. He looked at the guy who was shot and killed by Shiyu, still blaming himself for not being able to move just now. As a ninja, such a situation should not happen. Bang bang. On the other side, Sasuke also took down another Chunin. Although the opponent is a Chunin is just a ninja level, and does not necessarily represent strength. Sasuke trapped the opponent's hands and feet, making the opponent completely immobile. Looking up, he looked at Shiyu. What to do with this guy? Leave it to you to decide. Shiyu hands over the choice to Sasuke, and Sasuke glanced at the other enemy who had been killed on the other side, and suddenly his heart was overwhelmed. Raising his hand and waving kunai, he directly cut the guy's neck and killed him. Sasuke's face is not very good looking when he kills for the first time. Kakashi, who was watching secretly, sighed silently. Shiyu's choice is correct. Let Sasuke and Naruto pass this level as soon as possible, which will be of great help to their future ninja journey. Okay, let's move on. Shiyu was very calm with no waves. But Naruto and Sasuke are not at peace now. This is what it feels like to kill, and this is what it feels like to face an enemy who wants to kill you. The hearts of both of them began to turmoil. But Shiyu believes that the 2 will be able to adjust to this state soon. After all, they are the protagonists of this world. Dasna looked at Shiyu, who was calm and composed from the beginning to the end. It seems that this kid has killed someone for the first time. The previous shot was also the same. The other guy had a fight, but he just threw a hidden weapon and killed the opponent. The strength is obviously the strongest among the 3 little ghosts. After discovering this, Dasna involuntarily approached Shiyu a lot. When a group of people left, Kakashi's figure appeared next to the 2 Chunins who had just died. Looking at the bloody mouth pierced by one of them, it really is a terrifying force. Quickly be ruthless. It seems that this is not the first time Shiyu has killed someone. However, the test for you this time is not just that simple. The third generation is going to use the formidable Renren as a whetstone for Shiyu to see how sharp Shiyu's sharp edge is. It still takes a few days to go from Konoha to the Land of Waves. Since being assassinated once by two Chunin, the next day or so seemed to be uneventful. And during the rest at night, Naruto didn't sleep, but crazily holding a ball without knowing what he was doing. Shiyu just smiled slightly at this. Money. It seems that Naruto also feels the pressure and wants to become stronger as soon as possible. But haste makes waste. But since Naruto stayed up late to practice, Shiyu also felt the need to hurry up. In the evening, physical training is also carried out continuously. Seeing Shiyu's crazy training is exactly the same as Might Guy's crazy master-student pair. Kakashi, who was watching secretly, smiled. No wonder this kid's power is so terrifying. Doesn't the daily practice include these? However, with this kid's physique, how did he manage to continue his journey the next day after practicing like this? Ordinary people don't have such a strong recovery ability. When Shiyu et al. Were resting at night, Tauri also got the news. It failed? 2 Chunin against 3 genin brats, and they can still fail. Interesting. I'd like to see the difference between the 3 little ghosts of Konoha. Episode 79. Shiyu, who littered. If I don't kill you, it's just genin with 3 Konohas. You don't need to do it yourself. Leave it to me. Baiban knelt in front of Zabujan and spoke slowly. However, if he didn't want to cut it, he directly grabbed the beheading sword beside him. No, he directly rejected Bai's proposal. In Konoha's genin this time, there is a kid named Uchiha Sasuke. People of the Uchiha clan, even corpses can be sold for a good price on the black market. Wouldn't it be possible to sell them for more money if they caught them alive? So this time, even if there are 3 genin, if you don't kill them, you have to do it yourself. Shiyu and others are on their way to the Land of Waves. Walk for another 3 hours, and you should be able to see the Land of Waves. Shiyu looked at the map and said. Both Naruto and Sasuke finally breathed a sigh of relief. This is almost the end of the task. For a sea-level mission, encountering a ninja assassination halfway through is considered an excess. But fortunately, within the acceptable range, there should be no enemies next. Shiyu slowly put away the map, and soon arriving in the Land of Waves means that the man is about to appear. Just don't know when the other party will show up. Keep going. Shiyu secretly observed the surroundings, and suddenly Shiyu found that this place seemed to be somewhat similar to the scene in the original book 55. It should be here. While Shiyu was thinking, suddenly a sound of breaking wind came rapidly. Shiyu immediately yelled squat to Naruto and Sasuke. Turning around, a black phantom was rapidly approaching behind him, and Kakashi, who was hiding in the dark at this moment, also frowned. This is... Boom. Shiyu grabbed the flying beheading knife with one hand. Naruto and Sasuke looked at Shiyu, and when they heard the voice for the first time just now, they also reacted. Someone launched an attack towards them, and the sound of breaking the wind was so shocking. The hidden weapon must have been powerful. Shiyu asked them to squat down. They thought Shiyu would dodge too. But I didn't expect Shiyu to just stand there and single-handedly use the hidden weapon of the opponent. No. It should be said to be an extremely heavy and powerful force, so directly caught. Kakashi, who was observing secretly, was also stunned, looking at Shiyu with the corners of his mouth twitching slightly. How good the dynamic vision is, and how terrifying the physical strength is, to be able to stand on the spot and reach out to directly catch such a heavy knife. Who is littering? Doesn't everyone know about the care? Kakashi in the dark almost fell from the tree. He never dreamed that Shiyu would say such words in the first time. And behind Shiyu, jumping from the tree, he should have stepped on the beheading knife that was chopped on the tree, and the peach field that appeared cheekly will not be cut again. Now his face is ashen. As soon as he threw the big knife, he used the body flicker technique to fly directly to the tree in front. Now the person jumped down and the knife is gone. Zabuza, who landed on the ground, heard Shiyu's words, and immediately became angry. The brat. Are you joking? Both Sasuke and Naruto noticed the movement behind him, and Shiyu turned his head slowly. Dasna on the side swallowed silently, watching Shiyu hold a weapon that was taller than others, but acted like it was light. I was crazily complaining in my heart, how much power is this kid? It's a pity that I don't have to work and move bricks with such great strength. It's not bad to help me build bridges. Is that the knife you threw? Shiyu looked at the Momochi Zabuken that appeared, although the real appearance was somewhat different from the anime. But the general shape is exactly the same, there is no change. Boy, what's your name? Tao Dizaibu Zhan's cold voice sounded, and the murderous aura revealed in the voice made people shudder. Sasuke and Naruto suddenly felt a lot of pressure. Cold sweat broke out involuntarily on his forehead. But Shiyu looked indifferent, even slightly angry. You threw me with a ninja knife? Hearing CBCJ, Shiyu's question, I feel a tightness in my chest. This kid, is there something wrong with his brain? Can't you see that I'm here to kill them? Yes. So what? Swish. In an instant, a black shadow flashed past. There was a drop of cold sweat on Zabuza's forehead, and at the same time, he slowly thought about looking to the right. The big tree beside him was suddenly chopped off in the middle. Boom. The big tree collapsed slowly, and the beheading sword that did not cut off was stabbed obliquely on the ground 5 meters behind him. VR. I never thought that this little brat, who looked thin and weak, would have such astonishing strength. The power to grab the beheading sword he threw out with one hand just now is not at all possessed by ordinary genin. Who are you? Konoha genin, Moonlight Shiyu. Never heard of this name, but looking at Shiyu's aura, this is not like genin. Interesting, a brat of your age has such great power. Very good. Your life. Today I will not kill you, Mist Shinobi. Take your own life? What a breath. Shiyu. Naruto leaned towards Shiyu. Let's do it together. You don't do it alone. This guy looks strong, powerful. Of course it is strong. This is the existence that Kakashi almost stumbled if he didn't cut the peach ground. But let Naruto and Sasuke take action, but it is not helping. Shiyu shook his head. No, leave it to me. This is not an enemy you can deal with. After saying that, Shiyu stepped towards the direction of no more chopping. At this time, Naruto wanted to step forward, but a hand behind him stopped him. This enemy is indeed not something you two can deal with now. This voice is Kakashi. Looking back, Naruto looked at Kakashi, who appeared. Mr. Kakashi, who is this guy? The other party said just now that Mist Shinobi is Mist Shinobi's elite jonin, one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Sasuke frowned. 7 ninja swordsmen? Ah. That's right, the elite assassination unit that directly belongs to Mizukage. And the guy in front of me killed all the candidates of the same period when he was genin. The strength of the promoted chunin cannot be underestimated. As he spoke, Kakashi's eyes became serious. Even if it's me, I'm afraid it won't be easy to defeat him. Hearing this, Naruto became anxious. Then Mr. Kakashi, why don't you make a move and leave Shiyu alone? This mission is a test for you. I said that I will only take action unless your life is in danger, or if you are already dead. Naruto gritted his teeth and clenched his fists hard. Episode 80. Beheading Broadsword vs Black Sword Zangetsu. Naruto now feels as if he is useless. Obviously met the enemy, but Shiyu can only fight alone. Sasuke on the side felt the same way, feeling extremely aggrieved and helpless. Walking towards Shiyu, who is not chopping again, looking at Zenbuzu, who has raised the beheading sword again. Mist Shinobi endured the sword and 7 people jumped to the ground and never cut. Zaibu Zhan looked at Shiyu coldly while holding the beheading knife. Do you know me, Grandpa? Of course, such a famous name, I've heard it before. Very good. It is your honor to die under my hands, said Zabuza and noticed the ninja knife on Shiyu's back. Oh, it seems that you are also a ninja who can use swordsmanship. Well, let me show you how terrifying Kirigakure swordsmanship is. Compete with yourself in swordsmanship? Shiyu grabbed the black sword behind his waist with his backhand Zagetsu, Lu. Instantly pull out. Once the black blade appeared, Zabuza was taken aback for a moment. Black knife? Such a knife is not common. Zangetsu, Shiyu said coldly, while gently raising the Zangetsu in his hand. Hearing that he would not be beheaded again, he smiled, beheading with a big sword, notifying each other of the ninja sword's name. This is the process of a swordsmanship duel. The two stared at each other. Suddenly, 2 gusts of wind spread out at the same time, and Shiyu and Zabuza rushed out at the same time, quickly swept towards the other side. Zangetsu and the beheading sword collided suddenly in the next second. Clang! Zizizi! The blade collided with sparks, and the powerful storm spread and swept away. The weight of Zabuza holding the big sword itself has an advantage. At the same time, from the perspective of age, Zabuza has an absolute advantage in strength. Even a duel of swordsmanship is not suitable for the same, but Shiyu chose the most straightforward method under Kakashi's surprised eyes. It's a frontal collision. The black sword Zangetsu in Shiyu's hand is too slender compared to the beheading sword, but when the two collided, everyone was surprised. The Zangetsu held by Shiyu with one hand unexpectedly resisted the frontal slash of the two-handed saber. The sparks that burst out from the friction between the blade and the blade continued to emerge. How can it be? If he didn't cut him, he would be shocked. Shiyu, at his age, still uses this kind of ninja sword, so how could he be his opponent? Monster-like wrist strength. Kakashi also shook his head helplessly and smiled wryly. Naruto was quite excited. Come on, Shiyu. Get rid of him. This guy, how do you usually cultivate? Sasuke didn't understand why Shiyu's strength was so amazing at the same age. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect that you, genin, have such amazing wrist strength. It seems that you are born with infinite strength. Now this is the only explanation that makes sense, and I am a little envious of Bujan, such a talented brat. It is too cheap in cultivation. Misunderstood, but Shiyu has no intention of explaining. It has been more than a day since I left Konoha, and there are 3 advanced physical skills in the passive skill bar at the same time, which made Shiyu's physique improve by leaps and bounds. Now Shiyu also wants to try how much his strength has increased in this day. The empty left hand suddenly grasped the handle of the knife, holding the knife with both hands. The moment Shiyu held the knife in both hands, Zabuza's eyelids jumped wildly. He was able to withstand Shiyu's strength before, but now he can't stand it at all. The moment Shiyu exerted force with his hands, the veins in his arms suddenly popped up, and his eyes were instantly red and bloodshot. The blue veins on his forehead didn't have time to bulge, Shiyu directly shook them away in the next second. Hush! Shiyu wields the black sword Zangetsu. Passing across the air lightly, a gust of strong wind whizzed out immediately. Seeing Zabuza, who retreated 5 or 6 meters, before slowly stabilizing his figure, Shiyu rushed over at a high speed. Come again! The black sword Zangetsu looks slender and has no sense of power at all. But in Shiyu's hands, the power attribute is directly reported at this moment. Clang, clang, clang. Shiyu slashed frantically, pressing every step of the way without giving Zabucho any time to breathe. And Shiyu's crazy behavior also stunned Kakashi. There is no swordsmanship to talk about, it is pure violence output. He didn't tell you any skills at all. Shiyu knew that his sword skills were extremely exquisite, but he didn't want your proudest strength to defeat you. Seeing Zabuza holding up the beheading knife to defend in a panic, Kakashi suddenly felt that this guy was a bit miserable, asking for flowers. But at Shiyu's age, how did he cultivate his strength to such an extent? Didn't this kid go all out when he fought against him before? Thinking of this, Kakashi feels incredible. Boom! Sudden, an exceptionally crisp cracking sound sounded. The blade of the beheading sword was directly broken, and Kakashi gasped as he saw the flying fragments of the blade. This has to be so powerful that it can directly shatter the opponent's blade. Bang bang bang. After 5 or 6 slashes in a row, he jumped away without slashing, and opened the distance with Shiyu. Shiyu also didn't pursue immediately, standing there looking at the unscathed black knife Zangetsu in his hand. The special metal used every day is too hard, and there is no damage at all. It seems that I have to thank Tion when I go back. This Zangetsu is too good. On the other side, Bujan stared wide-eyed, looking at the big beheading knife in his hand that was full of gaps. It is completely unbelievable that the beheading sword will be shattered like this. Although the blade did not break directly, the edge of the blade either curled or collapsed. Look at Shiyu again, he is obviously just a teenage kid. How can there be such power? This is simply a monster in human form. Damn boy. As soon as the voice sounded, Shiyu suddenly raised his head and rushed towards Zabuza with a stride. Zangetsu in his hand did not slash at Zabuza this time with a violent gesture. The sword aimed directly at Zabuza's chest and stabbed. No more chopping and raising the beheading sword horizontally, ready to suppress Shiyu's Zangetsu. However, in the next second, Shiyu raised the blade slightly, flying the blade that was no longer cut, and then directly slashed towards the arm that was no longer cut. If he didn't slash at this moment, he would be even more stupefied. Even if he couldn't compare with strength, this kid's swordsmanship unexpectedly completely defeated him. One strike. Picking up his own knife with one blow. The swordsmanship that I am proud of is not worth mentioning in front of this kid. Swish. Blood slid down Zangetsu's blade. It keeps dripping down. Shiyu was a little surprised to see Zabuza, who abandoned his sword at the last moment to avoid the fatal wound. Can he react to this? Episode 81. Ghost Man's Silent Killing Technique. Shiyu swung Zangetsu slowly, throwing the bloodline on the blade. With his left hand, he gently stroked the blade emitting blue light. So, you don't want to kill the ghost peach after you hurt it? Kakashi was a little excited at the moment. That's one of Mist Shinobi's Ninja 7. The strength can definitely be regarded as the existence of elite Jonin level, but was hurt by a genin kid like Shiyu. Although the opponent was somewhat careless, he actually chose to fight swordsmanship with Shiyu instead of using ninjutsu to fight. But in any case, Shiyu, a genin who has just graduated, has such a rare performance in the first mission. Sasuke gritted his teeth lightly, watching Zabuchi, who was repelled by Shiyu and even injured. Although he didn't know exactly what level of existence this ghostly person in front of him would never be cut again, but the combat power shown by 050 just now. If you let yourself go, you will definitely not be able to reach Shiyu's level. Damn it, why is this guy so strong? If I have his strength, maybe I can find that man, to take revenge. Dodging Shiyu's fatal blow and using the price of a scratched arm in exchange for a chance to survive, Momochi will be Mist Shinobi's Jonin anyway. It is not so easy to be killed. He looked at Benkei's beheading sword, and then felt the pain in his arm. At this moment, it is already very clear that I will not be cut again. Monster, your attainment in swordsmanship is simply a monster. Terrifying swordsmanship, coupled with terrifying power, skill, and strength Shiyu possesses, is simply invulnerable. But the battle wouldn't end there. It was just an arm injury, and this kind of injury has long been a common occurrence for Zaibucho. Boy, you are very talented. If you were born in my Kirigakure, I'm afraid you would be a member of the new Ninja Sword 7 by now. But it's a pity to be in Konoha. Why don't you leave Konoha and be with me? At this time, Bujan even wants to win over Shiyu, who has an amazing talent for swordsmanship at such a young age. If such a person is in Mist Shinobi, he will be one of the next 7 ninja swordsmen. If I don't do Konoha Genin well, should I follow you to be Rinin? One sentence made the person who was in a good mood not to cut again, and his face suddenly became gloomy. Zabuza's cold eyes swept over Shiyu's face. Boy, although your sword skills are amazing, I also admit that I am not your opponent in sword skills. But what is really important in ninja fighting is not sword skills. Kakashi also sighed softly. It will be difficult for Shiyu now. Why? Didn't Shiyu suppress that guy easily? He even wounded him directly. I don't think this guy is very powerful. Naruto seemed to think that it was not strong to not cut again. Hearing Naruto's words, Kakashi shook his head. No, I just wanted to fight Shiyu with swordsmanship just because I didn't want to fight Shiyu, but I didn't know that Shiyu's talent for swordsmanship is extremely terrifying, and fighting with Shiyu's swordsmanship is courting death. And now, it seems that he doesn't intend to just compete with Shiyu in swordsmanship. The most powerful power of the reader is still ninjutsu. Shiyu's swordsmanship is powerful, but to a ninja, it's just like a ninja with strong physical skills. To deal with such an enemy, ninjutsu is the best method, and it is also the most helpless method for a physical ninja. Sasuke understood a bit. Mr. Kakashi, you mean to use ninjutsu if you don't chop, and once you use ninjutsu, Shiyu may not be able to maintain the advantage. Hearing this, Kakashi nodded. That's right. Although Shiyu is very strong, he is genin after all, and the ninjutsu he can master is limited. Facing opponents at the elite jonin level, the situation is not good. Sasuke also echoed. Indeed, Naruto on the side doesn't understand why the two think so. Shiyu should know a lot of ninjutsu too. I remembered that when I was in Konoha, Shiyu was still developing other ninjutsu when he taught himself Rasengan. Does this guy lack ninjutsu? However, Shiyu also has water-style swordsmanship, and may be able to fight against ninjutsu, but Kakashi thought of a question here. Gue Rintao di Zaibu Zhan is best at assassination, and the silent assassination technique is quite a terrifying skill. Water-style, mist shinobi technique. As Zabuza began to perform ninjutsu, Kakashi quickly told Sasuke and Naruto, come closer and protect Datsuna. I won't make a move until the last moment. Be careful, this probably wasn't meant for the two of them. As the mist rises, there was also a smile on the corner of Shiyu's mouth. Great sage, analyzing, 20%, 30%, 50%, that's right, Buzhan will give me a new ninjutsu. Very good, boy, next I will show you my silent killing technique. As the fog became thicker and thicker, the visible range was further shortened. Basically, it can be said that you can't see your fingers, and the thick fog makes everything around you completely invisible. With only a pair of naked eyes, it is impossible to observe the enemies in the thick garden. Unless you have the pupil technique blood succession limit, you can have some resistance, but unfortunately Shiyu does not have the pupil technique blood succession limit. But there is no pupil technique, but Shiyu has skills. Thinking acceleration is on. In an instant, Shiyu opened his eyes again, and at this moment, Shiyu's perception was not only strengthened, but all 5 senses were completely strengthened. Any slight change cannot escape Shiyu's perception. Boy, do you want me to start with that part of your body? The sound of Zabuza seemed to be coming from all directions, but Shiyu still didn't make any move, just holding Zangetsu in both hands, silently feeling the changes around. Hee hee. Don't you dare to move? It's just the power of swordsmanship. 5.3 can't go further on the road of ninja. Follow me. I can make you stronger. Shiyu curled his lips helplessly. Are you annoyed, or are you going to fight? Good. As you wish. The beheading sword that passed through the thick fog silently and colorlessly came to Shiyu's back at some point. It fell directly on Shiyu's back. Zaibuzhan sneered, break my beheading sword, then use your blood to repair it. Clang. Zabuzan was stunned by the exploding sparks. Impossible. He looked at Shiyu, who immediately reacted and raised his ninja knife to block his attack. How could he have sensed my attack? No, this is impossible. How could my silent killing technique be noticed? Episode 82. The disappeared Shiyu's true silent murder. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Zaibuzhan hastily retreated, hiding in the thick fog again. The mist shinobi technique combined with the silent killing technique concentrates a large amount of chakra on the whole body, exuding a blood-red light. Once this kind of technique is cast, it can shuttle silently in the dense fog, and the moving speed is very fast. At the same time, due to the release of chakra, the calendar will also increase every day. And it is precisely because of the combination of these two techniques that the name of Mist Shinobi, who is not cut by Momochi, can leave a good reputation in the ninja world. How did you find me? In the fog, Zabuzhan asked, very puzzled. And Shiyu smiled lightly. Guess? Do you guess or not? If I can guess, will I still ask you? No longer holding the beheading sword tightly, if he can't even take down a mere Konoha's genin today, then he basically won't have to hang out in the ninja world in the future. The majestic Mist Shinobi can't even deal with a Konoha's genin? Humph. No matter what tricks you play, I don't believe you can be so lucky every time. Let's see how long you can be arrogant. The sound of Zabuzhan disappeared, the next second. When, ding ding. No longer moving at high speed in the dense fog. 21. Constantly changing his position, attacking Shiyu. But without exception, all of them were easily blocked by Shiyu. With the blessing of the silent killing technique, the power of Zabuzhan has also increased a lot, and it is even comparable to Shiyu. But every time, no matter how silent and stealthy his attack was, it was easily perceived and blocked by Shiyu. Listen to the voices coming from the thick fog. Kakashi felt even more incredible. Could Shiyu be able to see through the silent killing technique of Zabuju? This is impossible. How did Shiyu do it? As for Sasuke and Naruto, they are too nervous to speak now. I can't see anything in the dense fog, and even though Sasuke and Naruto are so close, I can only vaguely feel each other's existence. Fighting under such conditions, how did Shiyu manage to block the opponent's attack? Does he have white eyes? But isn't white eyes the pupil technique of the Hyuga clan? Shiyu can't have white eyes. Analysis completed. Congratulations to host for acquiring new skills: Water Style, Mist Shinobi Technique, Mist Shinobi, Silent Killing Technique. The former is a ninjutsu, and although the latter has been analyzed by the Great Sage, it can only be regarded as an assassination technique used in the Mist Shinobi technique. But because of his special talent, Zaibu Zhan used to concentrate chakra on his whole body, which caused him to move very fast in the dense fog. At the same time, it can also achieve the special effect of silent movement. Shiyu experienced the silent killing technique of Zabuju, and this technique was a perfect fit with himself. With his penetration and silent killing technique, even without the Mist Shinobi technique, Shiyu can appear silently and attack silently. This is the real silent murder. Through escape can hide Shiyu's breath and body shape, while silent killing technique allows Shiyu to master the skills of silent high-speed movement and silent attack. Under such circumstances, the cooperation of the two can really kill people invisible. The title of Ghost seems to be more suitable for me than you. I won't be beheaded again. Shiyu's eyes lit up. Next second, Shiyu also used his silent killing technique like no more chopping. At the same time, launched through the escape, Shiyu's figure gradually disappeared. Even the breath disappeared without a trace. Don't be stunned at this moment. People, he can't feel Shiyu's existence at all. What's going on? Obviously in his Mist Shinobi technique, why can't he feel Shiyu? Where did that kid go? Underground? This is the first time he encountered such a situation. Someone was able to disappear under his nose in his Mist Shinobi technique. The sound of weapons colliding in the dense fog disappeared. Instead, the disappearance of the voice worried Kakashi even more. Shiyu, don't worry. While Kakashi was worried, the fog lifted. This made Kakashi even more confused. Why did Momochi Zabuza take the initiative to remove the Mist Shinobi technique? However, when the dense fog dissipated completely, Zaibu Zhan appeared, but Shiyu was nowhere to be seen. Where's Shiyu? Naruto spoke first. Sasuke beside him also looked around. The enemy is still there but Shiyu is gone? Has it already been killed? Kakashi immediately shook his head and denied. Impossible. If he was really killed, then why is there no Shiyu's body on the ground? So where did Shiyu go? Little devil. Get out of here. Kakashi's eyeballs were about to fall out when he heard the words of not beheading again, and this guy didn't even know why Shiyu disappeared. No wonder it will take the initiative to remove Mist Shinobi technique. The silent killer of the Grandmaster, the ghost man of Mist Shinobi, will lose his target one day? This is too unbelievable. Looking around for Zabuza with a flustered face, he felt a strong uneasiness in his heart now, and he didn't understand why Shiyu just disappeared right under his nose. Don't cut the peach ground again. Aren't you a Grandmaster's assassination problem? Isn't the silent killing technique very powerful? Why can't I even find it? Suddenly Shiyu's voice sounded, and everyone was even more shocked this time. Obviously Shiyu's voice rang in my ears, but I couldn't see Shiyu's figure. Couldn't even pinpoint Shiyu's location. There is no shelter around. Where is Shiyu? Just now, 430 did not cut and was covered with thick fog. But Shiyu was still able to hide his figure without the thick fog. How did he do it? Even Hatake Kakashi, who is known as a copy ninja who has copied thousands of ninjutsu, is now surprised. Looking around, let me teach you what real silent killing is. The moment the voice fell, Bujan's eyes contracted rapidly because he felt the pain. Right belly, bark. It was cut by the blade in an instant, and blood flew out in the air. A series of blood drops formed a beautiful parabola. This scene stunned everyone. Shiyu didn't show up, but don't cut it. Injured, Naruto pointed at Zabuchi. This sentence has not been uttered yet. The next second, Shiyu's voice sounded again and accompanied by the second blood flower. Can't you find me? It seems that I am more suitable for the title of ghost than you. Swish. A bloody mouth was torn open on the left shoulder in an instant. If you don't chop the beheading sword in your hand, you won't be able to catch it and it will fall directly to the ground. Bang dang. The body staggered back, no longer cut, and covered the wound on his shoulder, looking around in horror. That brat, how on earth did he do it? Why can't he be seen? Episode 83. The Konoha demon ghost with perfect ability. Blood. With the arms dripping, Zaibucho clutched the wound on his shoulder, feeling the pain of the flesh being cut. Looking around, there is nothing around. No one at all. But he was really hurt. What kind of spell did that kid use? Swish. It was another knife, but this time it was the left leg that was chopped off. No longer looking to the left without cutting, but in the next second, a bloody mouth was cut on the back by the blade again. Swish, swish, swish. It took less than 10 seconds for one knife after another, and he was already covered in blood if he didn't cut again. Kakashi was dumbfounded by this scene, Sasuke was dumbfounded by this scene, and even Dasna, who is an ordinary person, felt chills on his back at this moment. Are all ninjas this scary? It was obvious that there was an open space around, but Shiyu couldn't be seen. Even when he made a move and from where, he couldn't understand it at all. Is that kid a ghost? Suddenly Zabuza jumped up and jumped to a position far behind. At the same time, Shiyu snorted softly. Do you feel where I am? When Shiyu was still in doubt, he didn't stop to be vigilant all around. The panic and bewilderment in his eyes obviously didn't notice him. It just happened to escape just now. It is not so easy to see through the penetration and silent killing technique. Unless you have the ability to perceive, you should not be able to detect yourself. Thinking of this, Shiyu held Zangetsu, ready to attack Sabuchi again. B****************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** out. Let yourself out. Then it depends on what method you use. Shiyu accelerated and rushed towards Zaibu-Zhan, but at this time Zaibu-Zhan suddenly raised his hands and quickly formed a seal. At this moment Shiyu stopped walking. Does this print look like water style? Analyzing. Water style. Great waterfall technique. Behind Zabuza was a river, and the moment he performed his water-style ninjutsu, the water in the river behind him suddenly surged wildly. No wonder Zabuza wanted to jump towards that position, so he wanted to use the power of the river to perform water-style ninjutsu. Casting water-style in places with water will get twice the result with half the effort, not to mention that the power will be enhanced. It's still pretty smart not to cut it. The turbulent water flow bypassed and then rushed towards Shiyu's direction. At this moment, Shiyu also understood the idea of not beheading again. Want to force yourself to reveal yourself with a water style that attacks in a large area? Shiyu pressed Zangetsu with one hand. Breath of water. 2 types of water wheels. The body somersaulted and the blade rotated, and the instantaneous burst of water flow formed a ring and then continued to spread. The rushing water was split in two by Shiyu's slash. Boom boom boom. After the water flow swept through, all the surrounding trees were destroyed, and the impact of the water flow was astonishing. Kakashi took Naruto and Sasuke and lifted Dasuna to stand on the violently tumbling water, looking at the water flow that was cut not far away. Is that Shiyu? Although Shiyu's people could not be seen, the water flow was cut for no reason. Obviously, there is no other possibility except that Shiyu's swordsmanship can do this kind of thing. Got you. Even if you don't cut it, you can still smile. The impact of the great waterfall technique is strong, but it is not enough for rain. The important thing is to find Shiyu. However, when the waterfall technique stopped, the water flow gradually faded away. Shiyu still maintains this transparent state. Did a escaping ninjutsu hurt me? Shiyu smiled and took a step forward. Suddenly Shiyu stopped. He looked down at the beach in front of him. I see. Using this method to determine my location. Shiyu smiled. No matter how good it is to be an elite jonin, he thought of a way so quickly. And it's a very good way. Although Shiyu's penetrating escape can hide his figure and aura, it can be described as a perfect fit with the silent killing technique. But even if it is a perfect match, when Shiyu walks on the water beach, the water surface cannot be without waves. Even if it is as strong as Shiyu with amazing chakra control, it is absolutely impossible to step on the water without leaving any waves. Sighing lightly, Shiyu released the Throudun. When Shiyu's figure slowly appeared, Kakashi stared at Shiyu with wide eyes. Is this Throudun? Naruto and Sasuke on the side are still wondering what kind of ninjutsu Shiyu used to make his body disappear. Hearing Kakashi's words, the two quickly asked, Naruto, transmission? What's that? Sasuke, is this the secret of his disappearance? What is transit? Kakashi is staring at Shiyu. Throudun, a kind of blood succession limit, can hide one's body shape and breath. It is a good auxiliary blood succession limit ghost, but I didn't expect Shiyu to use Throudun. If I remember correctly, the only ninja in Konoha who can pass through the blood and follow the bounds should be Moonlight Shiyu. Wait, Moonlight? Could it be that Throudun is the limit of blood successors of the Moonlight clan? Never heard of it before, but Moonlight Gale will use it, and Shiyu will use it now. How to explain this? No more looking at Shiyu. Through escape? No wonder I can't determine your location. Not only is your body hidden, but your breath can also be hidden. Speaking of this, I don't want to think about what happened to me just now. If it wasn't for the great waterfall technique, I am afraid that I would not be able to make Shiyu appear until I die. I'm called Mist Shinobi, and you have the ability to pass through, but you also have silent killing skills comparable to mine. A ghost like a monster, Dimas, you should be called a ghost. Konoha Ghost? Shiyu's previous performance is indeed worthy of this title. Kakashi looks at Shiyu's back. Can he make his own name at the age of 12? This is rarely the case even in war years. Hateful. Suddenly Kakashi showed a very painful look. Sasuke and Naruto froze for a moment. Mr. Kakashi, what's wrong with you? In the next second, Kakashi spoke in Shiyu's direction with a crying voice. I'm so envious. Why don't I have such a perfect ability? Perfect ability? The two glanced at each other. Although Throudun seemed to be very powerful, it couldn't be called perfect. If I have this ability, I can go to the women's bathhouse. Naruto. The two looked at Kakashi with disdainful eyes. Episode 84, by his merciful slash. Finally forced you out. Now I want to give you back 100 times, and 1,000 times the pain you caused me. Shiyu sneered if he didn't cut it again. Humph. It's just showing me. Do you think you've won? Shiyu accelerated in an instant, and the water on the beach under his feet exploded instantly. The suddenly accelerated Shiyu's figure rushed towards Zaibu-Zhan, but at this moment Zaibu-Zhan didn't even have a knife in his hand. I can only take out kunai from the ninja bag and prepare for the battle. Shiyu, who was advancing rapidly, made him a draw with his left hand. Body flicker technique. Swish. In an instant, Shiyu's figure disappeared, but this time it was not silent. At the same time that Shiyu disappeared, there was an astonishing sound of breaking wind in Zabuza's ears. Turn around. The black blades in his eyes slashed towards his face. At the same time, Zabuza's mind is still thinking about the seal that Shiyu made just now. Instant? He actually uses the body flicker technique? A Konoha genin who actually mastered advanced ninjutsu like the body flicker technique? How come? However, it was too late to think. Shiyu's knife had already arrived. Ding. Zizizi. Kunai barely blocked Shiyu's blade, and Miexing continuously splashed out along the blade. At this moment, Shiyu's eyes shrank slightly. Through the escape, launched again. Shiyu just disappeared directly under the opponent's nose. 197. I don't understand what Shiyu is trying to do. Even if he can't hide his body, he still wants to use transcendence. Quickly staring at the water beach on the ground, the next second the water on the right produced some fluctuations. Although it was very slight, Bujan noticed it, and turning around, Kunai swept away in that direction. But in the next second, a stream of blood splashed out on his chest. Zabujan's face was a little pale. 5 or 6 meters behind him, Shiyu reappeared carrying Zagetsu on his shoulders. There was still blood on the blade, slowly dripping down the tip of the blade. Shiyu sneered, "Too done is not just about hiding your figure. More importantly, you are hiding my tricks." Hidden tricks? Kakashi looked at Shiyu. It is true that for ordinary ninjas, Tundun can only hide their body, but it is not for Shiyu. Shiyu, who has the ability to escape, is still a swordsmanship evildoer. Facing such an enemy, if you can't even see Shiyu's moves, how can you be on your guard? Monster-like swordsmanship plus penetration. This combination is probably a headache even for Hokage. Plop. If he didn't chop and fell to the ground, his previous injuries, plus the current CBCG injuries, he lost a lot of blood, and his physical strength was also declining rapidly, and he no longer had the strength to continue fighting. Shiyu walked step by step towards Zabuzi. "It's really a good idea for you to use the Great Waterfall technique to force me out. It's a good idea to grasp my position, but it's a pity that your sword skills are too weak." A 12-year-old genin says a jonin is weak with a sword. If he hadn't seen such a picture with his own eyes, Kakashi felt that he would never believe it. But now it's happening right in front of your eyes. Zabuza raised his head and stared at Shiyu with resentful eyes. Gently waving Zangetsu, Shiyu looked at Zabuza coldly. "Any last words? It is also time to end the life that will not be cut again." But at this time, I didn't move my mouth anymore, and wanted to say something. Suddenly swish, swish, swish. Hidden weapons were fired one after another from behind Shiyu. Shiyu quickly waved Zangetsu, knocking down all these hidden weapons that appeared suddenly. Zangetsu seemed to turn into countless afterimages in an instant. Immediately afterwards, one after another, thousands of books fell down. Shiyu looked at Qianben on the ground. "White. This person is my Kirigakure traitor. Can you hand him over to me?" Suddenly, a masked guy appeared on a tree not far away. Kakashi froze for a moment. Mist Shinobi's assassination unit? Kakashi felt a little strange that Mist Shinobi's assassination unit appeared at this time. "Who are you?" Although Shiyu knew it well, he still had to pretend to ask. Mist Shinobi's assassination unit, ordered to hunt down and kill the traitorous shinobi. But since everyone from Konoha has defeated him, can this person be entrusted to me to bring back Kirigakure? Although it felt a bit wrong, Kakashi still said, "Shiyu, Mist Shinobi's assassination team is dedicated to chasing and killing rebels. If you don't kill them, you can hand them over to him." Kakashi gave advice, not orders. And Shiyu nodded, expressing understanding. Seeing Shiyu nodding, Shiro also breathed a sigh of relief. "Thank you, everyone from Konoha. If you want a dead body, I will give it to you." Corpse? I was stunned for a moment. This Konoha ninja, what do you mean by corpse? Don't you want someone? It should be okay to take the corpse back. Saying Shiyu, Zangetsu hangs on Zabucho's neck, so I can kill him now. It will have no effect on you. After speaking, Shiyu was ready to do it. But at this time, I was in a hurry. Don't. In a word, Shiyu's movement stopped, and at this time, Kakashi's eyes on Bai also changed. His face turned ashen again. Looking at Shiyu beside him, he didn't expect that one day he would fall into the hands of a little ghost if he didn't kill himself. But he was never afraid of death. Zabuza exhaled. "Bai, don't worry about me. Let's go. This is an active challenge." Bai took off his mask and looked at Shiyu. "How did you find out that something was wrong with me?" Shiyu smiled. "I didn't find out. It's just that whether he is dead or alive, it shouldn't make any difference to Kirigakure's assassination team. If you let him go and don't behead him, I am willing to die for him." White. Hearing this, Bujan was stunned for a moment, and then his face darkened again. "Don't you understand my words? Get out of here. I never begged the enemy to let me go, and I don't need you, a trash, to rescue me." The Zangetsu in Shiyu's hand moved. "Wait. As long as you let go and don't behead my lord, I can give everything. As long as you let go and don't behead." "Bai, are you disobeying my order?" Seeing the two of them like this, Shiyu smiled faintly. Although he is not a good person anymore, he is everything to Bai. And Bai has never been a bad person, but he is willing to do anything in order not to be beheaded again. Both are poor people, Shiyu smiled. There's only one thing I can help you with. Shiyu looked at Bai and said. Bai was taken aback. For what? I can make him die without pain. He wants to kill our employer, so it is impossible to let him go. Bai picked up the chanben in his hand, and his eyes were a little bit cold. Save your life, help him collect the corpse. If you do something, you will die. At that time, he won't even have a corpse collector. Bai just stood there blankly, but at this time, he didn't cut off and smiled. Boy, kill me and let him go. Yes. Shiyu nodded. Episode 85. If you dare to kill the Lord, I will not let you go. Bai suddenly looked at Shiyu. The coldness in that gaze made even Kakashi shudder. Now he doesn't quite understand that if he doesn't kill a traitor, there will be such a loyal subordinate. Isn't such a guy a traitor? White. Zabuzen's voice now carries complicated emotions. Unexpectedly, a simple assassination mission would meet a Konoha shinobi like Shiyu. If there is another chance, Zabuzen will not choose to accept this task. Who would have thought that Konoha's current genin kid would pervert to such a degree? But it was useless to regret. He looked at Shiyu. Remember what you said. Kill me, let Bai go. Don't worry, as long as you are willing to die. I won't do anything to him, even if he seeks revenge on me. Hearing this, he no longer smiled. Bring it on. Bai held Qianben tightly with both hands. If I don't behead my lord, I won't leave you alone. Shiyu looked at the two and couldn't help complaining in his heart. You two big men are enough. Let's get married in place. Really, this is my own swordsmanship. Water breathing. Suddenly, Shiyu spoke to Zabuzen. The zangetsu in his hand was raised slowly, and the faint blue knife pattern shone. I was stunned for a moment. Is it the sword technique that cut the great waterfall technique earlier? Homemade? Is this kid really just genin? Who created their own swordsmanship when they were genin? Even the original Konoha's white fan can't do it at all. The next move to kill you, if you don't resist, if you are willing to die for that guy, then you will not feel any pain. Otherwise, you will be in great pain. Even if you die, you will still have the expression on your face after being tortured by endless pain before dying. Hearing this, he was stunned for a moment. Is there such a sword technique? Never heard of it, nor seen it. Although he has never killed many people, he is called Mist Shinobi, and he is not very enthusiastic about sword traps. But as one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, he still has respect for swordsmanship. Then I have to take a good look. Shiyu stood in front of Zabuchi, holding Zangetsu lightly, looking calmly at Zabuzen in front of him. Sad guy, he didn't understand what should be cherished most until he died. Swish! The water flowed out of nowhere, and water vapor appeared around Shiyu's blade, and the flowing water vapor made Baidu stunned for a moment. What kind of power is this? Water style? But he didn't seal it. Shiyu's movements were extremely slow. He gently raised the knife, and slowly slashed towards the neck that was no longer cut. At this moment, Bai was stunned. The picture in front of him was not so much Shiyu beheading, but Shiyu seemed to be dancing in the rain. A split second. It was as if some kind of light was shining on Shiyu's body, accompanied by the sound of light running water. Plop! Like something fell into the water. A knife flashed. Water breathing. Shiyu's eyes were slightly closed, and there was no wave in his eyes. The blade sliced across the neck that would never be cut again. Wu's type. At this moment, the expression on the face of No Cutting Crazy changed wildly. Shock, doubt, horror. Finally turned into joy, smile. At the same time that Zabuzen showed a smile, Shiyu's voice sounded softly. His figure intertwined with Zabuzen, holding the black sword Zangetsu, and slowly putting it in the sheath of the minister. Blade sheathed, a dry rain of kindness. Shiyu's words also sounded. West, Naruto, Sasuke. Even Dazna's eyes widened, staring fixedly at the face that would never be cut again. Died. But there was a smile on Zabujan's face. People laugh when they die, no. It should be said that Shiyu used this trick to kill and then not cut, but then not cut is actually laughing. You can take him away. From now on, I hope there will be no such title as Mist Shinobi in the ninja world. Boom! A bloodstain appeared on the neck of Zaibucho, and then his body fell down slowly. But Bai was already in tears at this moment, and the anger and hatred in his eyes seemed to have disappeared. Silently walked towards Zaibujan, picked up Zabujan's corpse, and walked towards the distance. Kakashi looked at the returning Shiyu. This battle gave Kakashi too much shock. This is Shiyu's real fighting power, this horrible little devil. No, now it should be called Konoha Demon Ghost, Moonlight Shiyu, an assassin more terrifying than Momochi Zabuza. With penetration and amazing swordsmanship, this kind of existence is far more deterrent than Zabuju. At the same time, Shiyu seems to have mastered the same silent killing technique as Zabuza in the battle. Ask for flowers, that's talent. But Kakashi is still a little strange. Why let that ninja go? Hearing this, Shiyu glanced at Kakashi. He didn't do anything, and he didn't mean to kill his employer. Even if he is released, at most he will come to seek revenge on me, and he won't find his employer, so don't kill him. Ninjas are also very taboo to be too merciful, but Shiyu's reason Kakashi likes it very much. Although Bai, as the enemy's subordinate, should try to eradicate together as much as possible during the mission, but that child is just too loyal to never kill again. The nature is actually not bad, and Kakashi would feel a little unnecessary if he really killed him. In the first mission, I defeated and killed Mist Shinobi Elite Jonin head-on. Shiyu, you can no longer be measured by your ordinary genin status. 0. Kakashi smiled and then disappeared again. His task is to secretly protect several people and observe several people at the same time. If it wasn't for the Mist Shinobi technique, Kakashi wouldn't have appeared directly. Let's go. Shiyu spoke to Naruto and Sasuke. At the same time, they also told their employer, Dazner, that Dazner now feels like winning the lottery. Unexpectedly, Konoha Crouching Tiger Hidden Dragon hired such a terrifying kid to escort him with the money of a sea-level task. So worth it. As expected of Konoha, as worthy of being the strongest ninja village, a group of people left and continued to head towards the land of waves, and they will arrive at their destination in a short time. The first mission of Shiyu and others is almost over, and now, in the forest, Bai stared wide-eyed at Zabuza standing up in front of him. Mr. No Killing, are you not dead? He was surprised if he didn't cut himself. He touched his neck. The wound was very long but only hurt the skin, not the blood vessels. It feels unbelievable to be able to precisely control the strength to such an extent. He didn't kill me. Bai was stunned for a moment. Why didn't I kill you? Zabuza shook his head. He didn't know either. But now he recalled Shiyu's last sentence. I hope that there will be no such character as Mist Shinobi in the ninja world from now on. Is this to remind myself to change my identity and live well?